everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you my everyday like a dewy makeup look that I do. I put up on my Instagram, see if you guys wanted me to upload this, and a lot of you said that you did want to see it, so here it is. While you're at it, just don't forget to click the subscribe button. Honestly, just do it. You know you want to do it, you know you want to see my videos. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram as well. It is Renee Weaver MUA. I will link it down below, and we'll get stuck into it. Okay, so I haven't put anything on my skin. My skin is completely clean. So I'll show you guys what I do to prep my skin in the morning or before I put makeup on. So generally after I've cleansed my face, I use the La Roche-Posay, it's the Calming Cream Cleanser in the Toleriane range. I can't remember what it's called, but it's in the Toleriane range and it's a cream cleanser. And then after I've cleansed and I've dried my face, I use my Ordinary Buffet Serum. So I do get a little bit of texture in my skin, just like some little random little spots here and there. So I like to use this because it helps to really calm my texture. And also too, it is a peptide serum, so it's really good as an aging prevention serum for a younger skin. So if you're a young person and you want to kind of bring in some anti-aging products into your skincare routine, definitely start with this. It's just a really good starter because we don't really need a bunch of anti-aging at our age. You can just, go in with like a serum and that'll sort of do a bit. The biggest things is drinking enough water and wearing sunscreen when you're out in the sun is the biggest thing, especially if you have white Caucasian skin. Sun is the biggest thing with aging. And then after I put my serum on, I actually like to do my eye cream first. So at the moment I'm using my Ole Henriksen Banana Bright eye cream. I love this because I do get quite dark circles in the morning, and it just literally instantly brightens. It's so good. So you'll see on camera how it freaking works. This is, I think, actually like a little bit of makeup as well. I did take photos of a look just before. It was quite intense. So I think a little bit of that has like stained, it's like stained pink all around here where I had the pink eyeshadow. And with my eye cream, I just like to kind of go in like that, get a little bit of product. With eye creams as well, you don't really need much. And I kind of just melt it in between my two middle fingers. And then I just wipe it on like that. And I just really, really gently wipe around, because if you do it too harshly, it can actually tug the skin around your eyes too much, and it can actually lead to more wrinkles when you're older. And then I also like to use my La Roche-Posay Toleriane Sensitive Moisturiser. So this is a very ultra lightweight moisturiser. So people with dry skin or normal skin or even like a combination skin can use this because it's so lightweight. I just find that in the Queensland weather, even though I've got dry skin, during summer especially, I need a really light moisturiser for underneath my makeup. And then if I'm going to be wearing the makeup throughout the day or at work, I always wear my SPF underneath. So I use the La Roche-Posay Anthelios XL SPF 50 sunscreen. It is amazing. I've seen so many articles about this sunscreen. It's so good. I've been using it for like the whole 2 years that I've been on Roaccutane now. Just give it a good shake up. And like, this looks like a really small bottle, but one of these lasts me 6 months easy, and I use it every day. And it's so like ultra lightweight in texture. And it just doesn't even feel like there's anything on your skin. It just feels like a really light moisturizer. Okay, so first thing I like to do is my eyebrows. Now, depending on sort of how I want them, if I want them a little bit heavier, which Generally I do like them to be more filled in. I do have very naturally thin eyebrows and therefore quite gappy as well. I also don't have a natural arch. You can see where it kind of concaves in. If I have my brows tinted at the time, I just do a bit of concealing around them just to make them pop a bit more. But if I don't have them tinted, I will go in and do them. I use my Anastasia Dip Brow shade Blonde I Am, and I just use this brush. It's actually an unbranded brush, and I bought this when I was on holidays, and there was just like some little mini makeup boutique. It wasn't like a David Jones or anything like that. It was just like a really little privately owned makeup boutique, and they just had these brushes there, and this was like, I think it was like $4 or something. This is the best eyebrow brush I've ever used, and I don't know what brand it is, but it's freaking awesome, whatever it is. I just like to use the spoolie to comb up my eyebrows. And then what I usually do with my dip brow is I usually just like to dip in to it a little bit, and then I actually use the inside of the lid to just kind of smush around the product, just so that I can make sure I'm not going in too heavy with it. It is very easy to go in very heavy with dip brow, and then I just like to do the bottom line first. I find that just gives a better base to work with. I pretty much just follow my natural eyebrows with this, and then I'm just going to start sort of here, like maybe a quarter of the way into the brow, and just start flicking up to the side, and I kind of do it from like that, and I just flick it. And I don't like my eyebrows to be too thick. I like them to stay quite thin. I used to do my eyebrows quite thickly, and I just look back at photos and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm talking like literally only this time last year I was doing my eyebrows like thick as hell. And I just look back and I'm like, what were you doing? That is just ridiculous. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how full my brows are. So now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to conceal them. Now this too is another brush that I bought from that little boutique. No brand, but it is so good. It's just like a little eyeliner smudging brush, or like a very compact shadow smudging brush. But I love this for doing brow concealing, and it's not like got a harsh edge on it, so I do kind of like that. I still get the precision, but it's not like an overly harsh edge that I then have to go in and try and like blend it out. Like, this is my everyday makeup. This isn't makeup for Instagram that I'm doing, so I don't like it to look very full on. And I actually use the P. Louise Shade 2 base. This is a little tester pot that I got from my friend Molly. Shout out to Molly J_MUA on Instagram. She is amazing. Go follow her. But yeah, we live in the same town, and yeah, I said to her, like, I was like, oh, like, what's the base like, because I don't know whether to order it or not. And she's like, oh, I'll give you some to try. So shout out to you, thank you. And then I just go in and I start concealing from underneath. You can see I've got that nice crisp line there. And then what I do for the tops of my brows is I actually like to use the corner of this brush, and I still use my P. Louise base, and I just literally start from in here and just carve out another line. And then what I actually do is I actually just take like a fluffy shadow placing brush, and I just use that to blend out the concealer, well, the base, because with this I'm actually just going to be putting foundation on my eyelid. I like to use as little product as possible when doing my day-to-day makeup, and then I kind of just fluff it through the start of my brows there, and it kind of just creates like a bit of a gradient effect. So then my next step is primer. At the moment I'm not really using any primer. I'm just finding that my Too Faced Hangover Primer is like, I don't know, I feel like it's not making, I think it's off because it's just not working as good as it usually does. And it kind of smells a little bit weird, so I think it may be off, so I think I should throw that out. And then my Benefit Professional, I do use a little bit of it, like just in this area, because like I have got quite enlarged pores still, so I do still need it. But at work I find it slides, like my makeup slides off my skin, even though I usually wear, like before I went on Roaccutane I always wore double wear with this and it was fine, and now after being on Roaccutane, I think because my skin's just dry, there's just like something that's not agreeing. But because my makeup always lasts really good when I'm not at work, so I'm just going to use a little bit of the Professional. I only use a tiny bit, and I just really smooth it out in this cheeks and nose area is the main part where I get like the really enlarged pores. So now with foundation, I do kind of two things. So if I want like a more very sheer, like just less coverage and my skin's like going through a bit of a dry patch, I use my Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation. Love this stuff, really good for dry skin, best foundation for dry skin ever. It doesn't hold up too well in the heat, but nothing really does except for like a matte 24-hour foundation. So what I sometimes do is if it's really hot, I actually mix in my double wear with the Rainforest of the Sea, like do equal amounts, and it holds up a lot better, and I actually get a bit more coverage as well if I want that extra coverage. But then with having this in, it just makes sure that it doesn't get too dry on my skin. Now with this, I use the Beauty Blender. It's looking a bit disheveled and ratty at the moment. I definitely need a new one, but I use the Real Techniques Beauty Blender. Or I really like the Morphe sponge, but like it's like to have to order that online, and like I work at Priceline, I can just get this one at work, and I just always wait till it goes on sale. So I missed out on it in the last sale, so that's why I'm like still holding out. And then what I usually do is I will put I'll do one pump of my double wear. So I wear the shade 1W0 Warm Porcelain. So it's like the second or third lightest shade, and it's one of the newer shades that they brought out. All of the others were too light, too dark, or just the wrong tone. Like they weren't amazing. And then I just do one pump of my Rainforest of the Sea, and I wear the shade Fair Neutral. I was wearing Fair Light Neutral, but it was a little bit dark for me when I didn't have a tan on. But I just used up the rest of it and then got this new one in the sale, and this shade is a much better shade for me when I'm my normal skin colour. And then I literally just go in and pat it out. So I'm actually just going to do like the half a pump thing as well, just to add that little bit more, just to make sure, yeah, I'm only adding really what I need onto my skin. And then you can see that second layer is covering up quite nicely. And I don't like a full matte look on my skin just because I am so dry. I do like to bring glow into my skin. So this combo just makes sure that I look really nice and dewy as well. So then when I have done my foundation, I like to go in with a concealer. If I just want something pretty sheer, I'll go in with my Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade 05. I think it's Ivory. It's a newer shade that they've brought out like maybe 6 months ago. Or I just bought the Tarte Shape Tape concealer in the shade Fair. This is actually a little bit too light for me, but I'm just using it because like I bought it, so, and like I can still work with it. Like if I just bronze around it, it just blends in, but I don't like to use much because it is so full coverage, and because it is a little bit light for me, I I do just I kind of like wipe off the excess of the applicator and then just go dun dun. And then I can't actually use that concealer on here too, because it's like just the right amount. So I'm going to go in and just start blending under the eye. And I like to actually blend out here first, and then I like to bring it up. I don't like to start directly under the eye, and I just think it just saves you building up heaps of product under there. And with my concealer, I've been trialing out not setting it at all, and it's been working so much better for my under eyes, because I just have so much trouble with concealers. Even like radiant concealers, if I set with like just a really light amount of powder, they just go ridiculously cakey on me within like 10 minutes. And then I kind of just go into the middle of my forehead, lightly do along the bridge of the nose, chin, upper lip, and then I kind of just lightly bring it down here to give a bit of a contoured effect. And I just use the very excess. I just don't like the heavy contour look in person. In photos it looks amazing, but I have seen people walking around with like this thick like orange strip, and they probably look bomb-ass in their selfies, but in person, like, it does not look nice. Like, do whatever you want. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my god, she looks disgusting, you know what I mean? Like, do what you want. That's just not a preference for me. I do like it to be very natural on myself. So I've done my concealer, and I'm not going to set it at all. I'm actually not going to set my foundation either. So I have always been a big firm believer in setting your foundation. Even all throughout being on Roaccutane, I've always set my foundation with powder, no matter how dry I was, and I never really had, like, I just didn't care, like, if it made me look cakey. I was like, well, as long as it lasts, I don't care. But now, all of a sudden, because my skin is smooth now and everything, and, like, I don't really have to cover much, I think because I'm so used to my skin being so good now, literally now that I'm getting a bit drier again, I'm getting really cakey around my nose, and even, like, just around the chin and the lip area. It's like I'm just really dry around there, and my foundation literally like separates, but it's not because of oiliness, it's because it's dry, and I feel like it's clinging just to those dry bits. Even though I exfoliate like 3 times a week and do that, it still just gets too dry. So I just don't set my foundation at the moment, and it has been working so much better. So if you're having some issues with your foundation, like going a bit funny and you've got dry skin, try just wearing a long wear foundation and not setting it. So like if I want that real full cover, I will just go with plain double wear, and I just won't set it, and it still gives like a matte finish, but it's not that light intense matte, and it does hold up a little bit better with my skin. Okay, so you guys are probably going to find this super weird. I actually really like to use the Real Techniques setting brush. This is my usual under eye setting brush that I like to use. Because I haven't been setting my under eyes, I don't use it for my under eyes anymore. And I actually really like using this to apply an eyeshadow like really naturally. I actually go in with my Benefit Hoola bronzer, and I just do like a really light dip in, tap off the excess, and then with the side that I dipped on, I turn it upwards, and I literally just go in and just fluff that all around the crease. And you can see it just gives a really natural bronzy sort of look. And then I just build it up to sort of how much I want it. And then I'm going to do the same to the other side. So I'm happy with the depth that is. So if I do want to darken it up slightly or just take away the warmth, I will then go in and add my Becca contour shade. So this is from the Low Light Highlight palette. Okay, so it's drying down pretty good, the foundation. I'm just going to keep going with the eyes just to make sure my foundation has fully set down. So then what I do next is I grab my Stila eye glitter paint, and I've got a few shades that I usually do like to go for. If I want more of a bronzy look, I go for my Bronzed Belle one. If I want more, I don't know, just more of like a neutral look, I'll either go for my Kitten Karma if I want something bright, or if I want something a bit darker, I go for my Smouldering Satin one, which I'm actually just trying to find, and I found it. So the Smouldering Satin shade's really nice for over the top of darker eyeshadows. It's got almost like a darker base to it, but it's got that really nice bright reflect. And I literally just apply it directly onto my eyelid. So I like to go in and do one little swipe, and then I just kind of use the excess of that and just spread it over the entire like lid. And then I kind of like to do the whole look down and then up thing, and then it kind of just spreads it up a little bit, and I actually really like that sort of look. I used to hate like shimmers in my crease, but I actually think it's a really beautiful look. Like, it just looks so nice and natural. And it kind of almost just gives you like a cut crease anyway. Then after that, I like to go in and do my under eye shadow. So what I do is I just grab like a really small buff like eyeshadow blending brush. This is literally like a Colette brush that I got from the bag store. Softest brushes ever. So if they still have them, this is going back when I worked there like 2 years ago. So give it a crack. And I just go in with my Hoola bronzer again and just do a little bit underneath the eye. Okay, so now that we're done with the eyes, I'm going to move on to the rest of the face. So I do like to just kind of have a bit of a feel. It's still feeling a little bit sticky. So what I'll do, if it hasn't like fully set down, I do have trouble like blending powder products over the top. I'll grab a bit of my Cover FX translucent setting powder, and I just grab the tiniest amount, and I just use a really loose face brush. This is the Nude by Nature finishing brush. Freaking love the Nude by Nature brushes, honestly. They are so good. And I just kind of pop a little bit in the areas that I'm going to be applying those powder products. And then sometimes I'll just do a little bit over the nose as well before I do like my nose contour. So after I do that, I just have a bit of a feel, and that feels a lot better now. Still feels like the tiniest bit tacky, but it's just enough for the bronzer to go over. So then I like to use my Hoola bronzer, and the Hoola regular is okay for me when I'm my natural shade. I do think the Hoola light would be better for me, but I just wanted something I could use for when I had a tan on, when I didn't have a tan on, because I do fake tan a lot. I generally will have fake tan on 99% of the time. So it's quite rare for me to be my natural colour. So this is a very rare video. And I literally just like to apply it really nice and softly. And then I actually like to just bring it up. And then I actually like to just kind of pop a little bit. I'm going to use the camera for this. In the temple area to kind of just act as a little bit of a contour, and just to make sure that the colour in my face is all even. So now that that's done, I'm just going to go and put just a tiny bit just under my cheek, like my jawbones. So then with the bronzer, I find contour powders I'm really easy to go into ham with my nose contour. I don't like it to be snatched. I like it to be very natural. So I actually use the Real Techniques Under Eye Setting Brush, and I kind of just dip the edge into my Hoola bronzer, and then I kind of just make it a bit more tapered, and I literally just run it along and actually up into the eye socket really, really lightly. And you can see it just creates a really mega soft contour. And that's literally all I do for nose contour. I just like it to look just that little bit more defined, just so that it's not blending in with the rest of my face. And I kind of just put it, like you can see my natural nose that it ends out here. I kind of like to place it just a little bit more inner, just to make it look that little bit thinner. And then I also take a little bit of the Hoola bronzer and I run it just underneath my bottom lip, like that. And then if I do want a little bit of, like, sometimes usually that's enough for me. If I do want just that little bit of extra sort of contour, I do go in with my Becca contouring powder. Now this contouring powder has been the best for me for my pale skin tone. If you can see, I'm pretty sure they actually discontinued this. So if you, and I bought up like the last two that we had. We used to sell it where I work. And I bought up the last two. They said they were going out of it. So if anyone can recommend other really good contours for like a pale skin, I like something that's got this more cooler sort of tone to it. Not cool, but like it's just a very natural looking contour, and I literally just very lightly run it underneath the cheekbone. And then I do like to bring it a little bit up as well, just so that it looks all together. So that's just added that little bit more of a contour effect. And then if I do want to add more, again, I just use the very tip of it and I just run it underneath the jawbone. So for my blush, I'm using my Becca Flower Child Luminous Blush. Now, I broke this the other day and it was close to brand new. I freaking hate myself for it. So I just really lightly dip into it, because as we all know, when blush breaks, like you pick up so much when you try and dip into it. And I'm not game enough to try and fix it with alcohol. I just feel like I'll wreck it. So I just go in very, very lightly, and I literally just really lightly drag it back and forth. So this is looking really cute, and you can see my under eyes haven't really creased at all from putting on the concealer, and like Shape Tape is a very matte like concealer, so I think I'm definitely going to keep going with this no setting the under eyes thing, because it works really good for me. If you try it out, let me know how you go with it, because honestly it's like changed my life. And then I feel like I do have enough illumination from the blush and not setting the foundation and that. But if I do want a little bit more of that highlight, if I have a tan on, I go in with my Becca Opal or Prosecco Pop highlighter, which I also broke. But if I'm my normal colour, I use my Anastasia Amrezy highlighter, which I also bloody broke the other day. And oh, I'm just so angry because it's like limited edition. And I'm like, I'm so far off buying a new one. Like, I've barely used it. I think I've had it for like maybe 3-4 months now, and it's like barely gone down at all because it's so pigmented. And then I literally use another Real Techniques setting brush. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to put a little bit of my lip mask on. So I use the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. So this you can get from Sephora. I think it was like $26 or something, but this lasts you forever. Like, I've had this since December and I haven't even used a quarter of the tub, and I wear it, like I use it multiple times a day. It's so nice. Okay, so my camera battery went flat, so I had to go charge it, so it's a little bit darker now. So I'm actually going to put on my mascara. First I'm going to curl my lashes. And then I'm going to use my L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. This is a really good mascara for just giving a lot, like a really good flick up of the lashes. I have a lot of issues with my lashes staying like lifted all day, and this really lifts my lashes. And it just gives them a little bit of definition, and it's really good, like if you just want a very natural lash look, and really good for the for your under eyelashes as well. I'm literally about to go off on myself. What the freaking hell is that? It's okay, I have a trick. Let's hope it works. Anyway, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to put on a coat of my Ciate London Wonderland mascara. This is really good for also giving your lashes a really good lift, and this just adds a little bit more volume to my lashes. And then the last thing I like to do on my eyes is just use a black eye pencil and go in my waterline on the top. So I use the NYX retractable waterproof eyeliner, and you can get this in so many different colours. And I also use the white one of this when I'm doing more dramatic looks on my lower lash line. So I'm just going to go up in the top here. Okay, so I'm going to use a cotton tip. Wait for your mascara to dry and then go with a clean cotton tip and just really lightly scratch at it when it flakes right off. The downside is that if it's a really thick clump like this, it does take off a little bit of your foundation. Then I use my MAC Fix Plus spray. I've got the rose water one at the moment because I accidentally picked it up instead of the original, so I'm just using it until it runs out, and then I'm going to go get the original again. Give me that dewy. Give me that dewy. Give me that dewy. Now I like to go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. I actually have a mini version of it at the moment, but I'm definitely going to buy the full size when this runs out. And I find this is one of the only brow gels that I can use over the top of dip brow that doesn't take it off with it. Like, I really liked the Australis Clear Brow Gel, but I just find over my dip brow it just for some reason removes it as I'm putting it on. But this one's really, really good. Now for lips, I'm using the Velvet Concepts Plump and Define lip pencil, and this is a really nice, just like natural pink colour. And I like to go just underneath my lip line. And then my favourite, like, everyday colour is the Velvet Concepts Ballet Lip Gloss. I absolutely love this gloss. It's just the most beautiful natural pink. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope this was interesting to you. Please let me know what other videos you want me to do, as I get really stuck for ideas a lot, and I don't know if you guys want to see me do like full makeup applications of like the crazy looks I do. If you do, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking down here, and also while you're at it, go click the bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.